Hey, what's up, everybody? BDO 44 coming at you with another video. All right, so now we're talking Jazz Mavs, and this series is going to shift back to Texas. And honestly, nobody's happy about it. Nobody wants to watch this. God, why does this series continue? This is the one series we all want just to go away, but it won't. So we'll continue to cover it. Honestly, I've saw some really good effort out of Donovan Mitchell and the Utah Jazz in this previous game. They came through with the type of fervor that you thought they would come with to start the series, knowing that Luka Doncic was out. They waited till he came back to give that energy instead of taking advantage of him when the team didn't have him. So what we saw was a Utah team that finally found their defensive edge once again, even though it didn't sustain for the whole 48 minutes, because you did see some big quarters from the Dallas Mavericks. At the end of the day, we saw them get stops where they needed to and ultimately help themselves to a victory. Rudy Gobert had a big game on the boards. He had 16 rebounds. Definitely something they need to have a repeat performance in regards to. We saw Donovan Mitchell play pretty well, getting scoring up, making sure this team felt the presence that he provided. Mike Conley played a bit better. You saw them insert Hassan Whiteside in there a bit more, and I think that was very, very important because it gave them even more of a size advantage. And that's pretty much why the Utah Jazz were able to have success on their end. Meanwhile, in the Dallas Mavericks, they had brought back, of course, the great Luka Doncic. Luka Doncic is back from his injury. First time he's getting a chance to play in these playoffs. He put up 30 points, was his normal self. But unfortunately, Spencer Dinwiddie struggled. I don't know if you can say because of it, but it looked like it to me. He just only put up 5 points, bricked the final shot at the buzzer. Why he was taking that shot is controversial to me. But, that's what they gave themselves at the end. He had hit a game winner in Brooklyn a couple weeks ago, so you definitely trust him to hit a shot in the clutch. But I just felt like that should have been a more hot hand since he had been very cold in that game. All in all, I just felt like they probably should have allowed Luka Doncic to sit a little more, just because the Utah Jazz hadn't given themselves an opportunity to really proven that they could beat the Dallas Mavericks as they were constructed without him. And I felt like that was a good combination to continue throwing at them because they were the ones giving you what you had seen in success. But bringing back Luka Doncic, get him in the rhythm, get him in the swing of things. There's no real comfortable time to bring him back. In terms of in these playoffs, he's going to have to shake off whatever jitters may be. The team's going to have to adjust to him. Guys are going to have to get used to playing with him some point. So I guess they said when he's ready, we bring him back, no, regardless. And I think it may have cost them the game. And in a series that I didn't pick them to win, I just don't think, I just don't think that was the strategy to use. But all in all, bringing back a Hall of Fame caliber player like Luka Doncic is never a bad thing, so long as everybody else is able to play the way that they need to play in order for the team to stay upright. And I just don't think that was the case. You saw a situation with Maxi Kleber getting in foul trouble, 5 fouls in like 3 quarters. That, he was a big part of why they won Game 3. And with him not giving them any production in Game 4, I think that had a direct correlation to why Dallas wasn't able to put a whole lot of points on the board. I think the score was like 100-99. So you want to see Dallas put up more points. You want to see more ball movement. You want to see someone other than Luka Doncic control the basketball, which is something that they just don't do. He controls the ball for about 75% of the time. And a guy like Spencer Dinwiddie is probably best if he gets more looks, more rhythm touches, and things of that nature. So he's had games where he's played well with Luka in the lineup, of course. But in a playoff game where you need continuity and everything to be consistent, he just was not able to show up. And that was also a big part of why they weren't able to get a victory. Dorian Finney-Smith has been big in this series, and I want to see them lean on him a bit more, give him more opportunities to be active in this series. He's a very, very talented Swiss Army knife type of player, one of those coveted wing defenders that everybody's looking for. He is definitely somebody that they should be giving more opportunities to because of what he can do stretching the floor, as well as what he can do in the open court. And they ultimately are a team that doesn't really get a lot of fast break points, to say the least. And they're going to need somebody who can help them with that. I think he can. So, all in all, Luka Doncic being back creates a new dynamic for the Utah Jazz to try to defend. And it seems to me that they're doing a good job against him. Not necessarily in shutting him down, but in shutting down the team all around him. So Dallas is going to have to do a better job of just getting more from their bench if they want to have an edge in this series, to take advantage of this home court they'll be having tonight, which I know is going to be jumping. Dallas is definitely a spirited crowd. Mark Cuban's going to be in the house. Everybody's going to be jumping and ready to go down there in the Big D. So now, Utah is going to have to continue to sustain their defensive edge. They have not played defense throughout this entire series in a way that we can really say we believe in. They have gotten away from shooting the three-point shot. Donovan Mitchell himself was 2 for 10 in the last game. That's not going to be good for you. You just need to find more opportunities to get quality possessions. Jordan Clarkson had it going in a real way in the last game. He's been a star for that team for the last several years off of the bench, winning Sixth Man of the Year last year. Old Laker kid, we appreciate a great deal. He needs to be given more looks in this series. Dallas Mavericks have a very difficult time with that dude. And when he's aggressive, getting to the line, hitting rhythm shots, he's somebody that makes the Dallas Mavericks a very difficult team to beat. Maxi Kleber has been mentioned. We also want to talk about Davis Bertans, his counterpart out there in the backcourt shooting off of the bench. Very, very good in Game 3 as well. It was basically those two shooting that team down, along with, of course, Jalen Brunson, who's just been phenomenal, as we know, turning into a star right before our very eyes. Just a surgeon in the inside with teardrops and different bank shots and various different moves that allow him to take advantage of sweet spots that the defense don't often defend. So he is a very unique player. He comes from good stock. His father played in the NBA. And he is coming into his own right before us, just like several other players all around these playoffs. But he's doing it in a very demonstrative fashion, scoring 40 points here and there, putting up big rebounds and assists on top of that, and even getting the defensive stats as well here and there. So you got to respect the Dallas Mavericks. They play good defensive team defense as a whole. Guys like Reggie Bullock help on both ends, particularly shooting the ball. He's going to be somebody I look at to do some good things. Dwight Powell on the board for the Dallas Mavericks. These are players that they've had for a couple of years. They know one another, and they should be very good out there in a home court setting in the playoffs. It's a pivotal game. Utah is a team that's constructed in such a way that you should be able to take advantage of, especially if they refuse to take Rudy off the floor when those shooters start to shoot. I'd expect that to be something Utah would want to shore up, since they've seen that they've had issues with that. And I think the reason why they were able to win that last game is because Dallas just simply didn't have those shooters out there to do the same to them. When Dallas has those shooters out there tonight, if Luka is willing to trust those guys, as he always does, and they continue to get good production out of Jalen Brunson and the 50-50 ball stuff out of guys like Dorian Finney-Smith and Powell, I think at home you would have to imagine that the Utah Jazz will probably fall tonight. Because I just don't see them having the issue shooting. Luka Doncic already showed us he's back, like really back. And the Utah Jazz, they have to play well on the road. You know, they're going to have to prove that that's going to translate. They've been a very hot and cold team all year long. You don't know what you're going to get from game to game from their various players. And I've seen no consistency. You know, you got to mention Bogdanovich and how well he shot in this previous game. But he's had games where he hasn't been available in a very great capacity. You've seen him play Daniel House a lot. You know, that's been a source of rebounding and things like that, but he doesn't really shoot the three, so that kind of gets away from the three-point shooting as well. You just see a lot of holes in Utah's game, even though they're coming off a game where they played well. In theory, now that Luka's back, Dallas should be favored at this point, with the series now being tied once again at 2-2. So I like Dallas tonight. I do. Even though I picked Utah to win it in 6, I would be lying if I said I like them in this game just because of everything that I said. I just don't expect Utah to be able to defend that three-point shot, and I expect those threes to fly. And on the other end, I don't expect Utah to shoot the three very well because they haven't been. I think they were able to take advantage of a struggling offense from Dallas that I don't expect to struggle tonight. You know, 99 points from the Dallas Mavericks. No, 5 points from Spencer Dinwiddie. I don't see that. Utah's going to have to continue to play stifling defense, and they're going to have to be willing to take the bigs off the floor to match up with those shooters. Maxi Kleber's not going to get in foul trouble. You're not going to see him pick up 5 fouls in quick minutes like that. He's going to be ready to knock you down. He's a very important player in this series. I can't stress it enough. So all of that being said, I feel like a hypocrite because I did pick Utah in 6. So I'll say, okay, Utah win tonight and expect being wrong. How about that? Let's stay consistent on this channel. Utah's going to win somehow, overcome all these different things that I think I see, just so that I can stay consistent, because people hate when you're not. That's what it's going to be. But honestly, I expect this to be a good game, because you have a situation where Dallas really didn't play their best and still had an opportunity to win. And Utah did win and really were happy about how they played. So I expect the momentum of both of those teams to be give them both positive body language in this game. And I expect the series to continue, because it won't go away. Quite honestly, I've been calling for the series to end just because I want Utah to blow their team up. And I think if they have continued success, they may actually give themselves another shot at this thing next year, which I think is absolutely a mistake. I think they've run into a very interesting situation where, of course, they started the first round. They run into a team that doesn't have their big star, and because of it, they've been able to jump out into a lead. But all in all, with the circumstances being as they are, now that Dallas has all their pieces back, things can fall back into place. And so I did pick Utah to win the series at the beginning of the series, because I thought Utah was going to do some things that they hadn't proven they were able to do until the last game. But while those things were happening that they were able to do, some things that Dallas never does took place too. So I don't know how to really feel about this series. I want to say that I'm going to stick with my pick and just await being wrong. So that's what we're going to do, as I said. BDF 44. I'm looking forward to this game because it has been living up to expectations, which were very low. But they're exceeding, is what I'm saying. It's been a better series than one would expect. And Luka's back, so that makes it worth watching. Anyway, that's what I got, man. Thank you all for watching me. And I'm, of course, going to give you reactions to each and every one of these games. Maybe at halftime, maybe not, depending on how I feel, but definitely afterward. So that's what I got, man. BDF 44 once again. Thank you all for being patient with me talking in circles, and I'm out.